the show, I'll give out the White Sox. I personally have $0 on it.
I don't know how you could trust the White Sox bats to get to Tristan Goat McKenzie. Seems like a losing battle.
I don't know about that.
Tristan McKenzie hasn't looked good since 2021.
He's been hurt. He's been dealing with an injury.
Well, he's not healthy now because his spin rates are down, his velocity's down.
And laying minus 200 with that is insane.
That's the issue. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Cool. Back Tanner Banks then.
Well,
yeah, we will. I mean,
keep in mind,
it's one or the other, yeah.
Keep in mind, Cleveland's coming home from a West Coast road trip, a fucking 9-game West Coast road trip. I mean, yeah.
If you think the White Sox are a lock, just come out and say it. Don't beat around the bush.
I'm not beating around the bush. I bet the White Sox yesterday in cash, so I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm feeling a little froggy, and I may leap. I'm not going to lie to you.
There's Commish.
First 5 only, though. I can't do that full game.
I was going to say, who did the White Sox beat yesterday? But now that you say that, yeah, they did. They did in the first 5.
All right. Everyone's here. What's up, everybody?
That got a little risky really fast.
On,
I don't know if anybody watched it. But.
I know the person in the comments is joking, but I got asked a couple times if I thought playing overs in tonight's MLB game was smart because of the eclipse. Swear to God, people.
Of course not. They can't see.
So unders then.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not even sure exactly what that is. So I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I mean, it's something really stupid. It's something where it just proves our society is so desperate for something to talk about that they will make a big deal out of anything.
I'm telling you, Northeast Ohio has been closed all day today because of this thing.
Wait, what?
Never
mind. I don't even care.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I sat outside and watched it. It was pretty cool. It lasted 4 minutes.
I can honestly say, did not watch it. Who cares?
Nope.
Okay.
White Sox, Cleveland to start. Prop Beaver was just telling us before we went live that the White Sox are a lock tonight. He said plus 200 is free, right?
That was me.
Yeah.
Actually.
It was part of my pick plan today. If you want one pick, $500, it's the White Sox money line. Yeah, I mean, just a great team, lots of heart. No, but I mean, seriously, it's either White Sox or pass for me. I love Tristan McKenzie. I've always been a big Tristan McKenzie guy, but I mean, truthfully, he's only had one good start in his past 2 seasons. He's only made 4 starts in those 2 seasons, and that good start was against the Twins, who just for some reason cannot hit that dude. We've seen him actually lose a few games against the White Sox before, despite pitching well, and I think that could be a similar case today, just simply due to the spot. I mean, this is the first game back home for Cleveland, as Toast was saying, from a long road trip. And at plus 200, anything could happen. It is a AL Central game. Both these offenses are gross. At some point, the Cleveland offense does have to cool down a bit. And after having 2 different days off in the past 3 days, maybe that will be the catalyst for that cool down. So, yeah, I would lean White Sox or pass here.
White Sox or pass. You think the time where Cleveland's bats are going to cool off is against Tanner Banks? That's when you think it's going to happen?
Well, if anything, he's a lefty, so it would, yes. I mean, he's a lefty, Tanner Banks, and behind him is Jared Schuster, who's also lefty. And Cleveland is not 1/8 as good against lefties as they are righties. So, yeah, I'll take the plus 200 price.
Toast.
Yeah, White Sox first 5 for me. I'm halfway there to betting it. Probably going to for like $40 or $50, just because, like Beaver. I mean, Beaver said it all. They're coming home from a very long road trip. They've had 2 weird days off. It's just not. It's a horrible spot for them, or for Cleveland. Excuse me. Not to mention, Tristan McKenzie doesn't look good in any way, shape, or form. I understand that he has good numbers against the White Sox. I get the White Sox are terrible, but again, it's more of a price and a spot thing for me. So if I can get the White Sox in the first 5 at like plus 190 or plus 200 or whatever the number is, and they're going to go Banks and Schuster back-to-back lefties in a game that I think maybe has 7 runs, I would take my chances with the White Sox.
Guys, this is a White Sox team that just went on a 4-game series in Kansas City and scored 5 runs the whole series. Just to give you an idea of what we're talking about.
They're due.
They faced a great staff.
Okay, that's true.
You're really doing White Sox too?
Yeah, I'm actually typing up to send out right now. I'm typing up White Sox over 2.5 team total that FanDuel just dropped, and then over 3.5 team total. I was gonna play the money line in the full game, and I still might for a little bit, but Jared Schuster is one of the absolute most dog shit pitchers I've ever seen step on a major league mound. Last year, 52 and 2/3 innings, 13% K rate, double-digit walk rate. The guy is absolutely horrific. But I think it makes sense what Toast and Beaver are looking at here. If you go look at the Guardians lineup, I know they've hit lefties relatively well so far. I mean, who have they faced, right? Alex Wood is a significant portion of that sample so far. Quan below league average against lefties last year. J-Ram not as good against lefties as righty. David Fry, give me a break. Josh Naylor was good against lefties last year, but a hyper-aggressive approach. I don't know if we're going to see that continue. Freeman, not bad. Laureano, definitely very good against lefties. But Jimenez, Hedges, and Rocchio 7, 8, 9. This really is not an impressive lineup for me whatsoever. I know you can say that and more about the White Sox lineup, but Tristan McKenzie, not very good in his first start of the year. Velo down, spin down. I really don't think he's healthy, to be honest with you. I think he probably could have had surgery, elbow surgery last year and been done for the season. The fact that he's out there on the mound, I mean, kudos to him for fighting through it, but I just don't think he's healthy, and I'm willing to fire the White Sox here a couple different ways.
Yeah, I think you guys are nuts. So if you want to tell me that you don't like the spot, having 2 of the last 3 days off, if you think the bats could be flat for Cleveland, eventually they're not cool down and they're seeing a lefty, which they're not as good against, that's good information, and I like it. But there's no way I could trust the White Sox bats, so tell me why we don't just go here and take the full game under at 8.5. So maybe I could play your angle that Cleveland's bats couldn't come out flat against a lefty. Okay, but then I don't have to put any faith in the White Sox lineup because they've scored 5 runs over their last 4 games. This lineup's just not hitting. And Tristan McKenzie, look, I can't see him just getting lit up. Do the White Sox have the worst lineup in baseball?
No. Yeah. So I will say no. I think
without Robert.
I was going to say without Robert, no. Without Jimenez.
Yes.
I still say no. I think the Rockies, by far, I still think have the worst lineup in baseball.
I don't know, man. With Charlie Blackmon and Nolan Jones up in there, I'd rather take them.
I don't respect either of them, to be honest with you. But Charlie Blackmon's decent, but there's no upside there.
You're just a hater if you don't like Charlie Blackmon.
I am a little bit. I have no respect for the Rockies, and it bleeds into the players because that organization is such a.
Someone just said it in the comments. The White Sox have scored 16 runs in 9 games.
Right, so they're due.
Right? At a high level.
Back me up here. They're due. This is a team that's had actually a pretty good approach. They're not chasing many bad pitches. They're swinging aggressively at a lot of pitches in the zone. Weather's warm in Cleveland today. I heard the Eclipse is like plus 50% run boost, maybe. So who knows? So I really think, man, like they're gonna get to McKenzie today. There was a big thing that I guess there was like a big team meeting or whatever that the White Sox had yesterday. Garrett Crochet called out some guys for this team not performing. Like the worst teams in the league they're not going to win 1 of every 9 games. There's going to be some regression here at some point. McKenzie's a hittable starter. I think we see some runs. Nobody in Major League Baseball last year averaged below 3.9 runs per game. So, I mean, you're getting a 2.5 team total. I feel like that's just on principle. You have to fire at that.
To that guy's comment, 6 of those runs came in 1 game too.
So yeah, I'm cool on the under here. I don't know if I bet it though. We got a lot of games on the board. I'll write it down though. I'll write it down on my list.
There's so many games on the board.
So we got White Sox, Cleveland under 8.5. All right, let's move on to the next game, which is the Marlins. The Marlins trying to build a winning streak here. Marlins coming off an impressive win. Very short price here for the Yankees, too. Not sure I really understand the price. I guess oddsmaker showing Luzardo a lot of respect. Not really sure what we think about the Yankees lineup against left-handed pitching either. I'm sure Prop Beaver has some notes for us on that. Toast, don't you think the price here a little sketchy for the Yanks?
Yeah, it was, and I tried to get to the Yankees, and then I talked to these two. Or I tried.
You're not betting the Marlins, are you?
No. Absolutely not. I tried to get there though. But no, I bet the Yankees. I think that Luzardo's obviously worse on the road. And then as I started looking at Nestor, I'm like, man, he hasn't been good. And then I looked. I mean, look at the teams that he's faced. The Diamondbacks, his last 7 starts. Diamondbacks, Houston twice, Seattle, Baltimore, Toronto, Tampa Bay. I mean, that's like the who's who of teams. I mean, all those teams are very solid. I guess Seattle's not that fantastic, but later in the year last year, they were going on a run. So I just think that he's going to pitch well against this Marlins team that's absolutely terrible. I don't really need to go into a lot about why I'm betting against the Marlins though at this point.
So someone was clearly watching last season. Someone said, "Remember when Prop Beaver called Luzardo a thought on the show last year?"
He is a trick ass thought. I stand by it to this very day.
He called Luzardo a thought. Dude, I laughed for like a week about that on the show. Called Luzardo a thought.
It made sense at the time.
Probably you're not betting the Marlins here, are you?
No, dude, absolutely not. Congratulations on their win yesterday. I'm really proud of them. They're still a disgrace and an embarrassment. I'm gonna take the Yankees double result here at plus 130. I just like the Yankees in pretty much every way, shape, and form here. Yankees got an 887 OPS, 306 average through 36 plate appearances against Luzardo. Luzardo's faced the Yankees twice, once in relief, once in a start, and has gotten obliterated both times. He hasn't even made it 4 innings in those 2 games and allowed 10 runs, 10 hits, 3 homers. Both happened in the past 2 years. We know that Luzardo's more vulnerable on the road. And on top of that, the Yankees didn't look good against Kikuchi, but Kikuchi just owns them for some reason. They were able to get the Framber. They look good there. And most of their lineup projects to be a lot better against lefties. So this is a lineup that I'm looking to back more against lefties than righties. On the other side, we got the Marlins lineup, who has struggled against Cortez, just a 5.59 OPS through 34 plate appearances. Cortez is off to a bit of a rough start this season, but as Toast was saying, he just faced the Houston Astros and the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are a top 3 offense against lefties thus far. They've been destroying lefties, and the Astros at home, one of the toughest places to pitch in the major leagues if you're a left-handed pitcher. So I think this is a bit of a nice of a buy low spot, because take out Falter's disaster class against the Marlins. That dude sucks. And the 4 other lefty starters to face them have a 1.23 ERA, haven't allowed a home run, and have a 1.18 whip. Cortez is much better at home. Both of his first 2 starts were on the road. The high leverage arms for the Yankees are still available. Losing Loaisiga kind of sucks a bit, but I still think the Marlins pen is so bad that Yankees win the first 5 here, and they win the full game. So I'll take the plus 130.
I would be a little worried. Look, not that I am scared of fading Luzardo. I'm not a Luzardo guy, but we know that he's capable of coming out and throwing a gem. So like it's possible, and I feel like that could fuck your bet up there if it's 0-0 by chance. But
just for the record, though, the Yankees are like 3 times better versus lefties than they are righties.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that wasn't the case last year. That wasn't the case last year, right?
No, it was. It was. The year
Really?
before it wasn't the case, but last year, yeah, they were better against lefties than righties. Actually, much better against lefties than righties.
Why don't
and this year?
I guess I remember that wrong. All right,
Yeah.
Kamish, what do you think of Prop Beaver's double result? He doesn't like it.
I don't hate it.
He's trying to be nice. He was like,
I bet the Marlins yesterday, and the Marlins are a really bad team. But
you're on the fish?
I think Nestor Cortez is not very good. The Marlins are a train wreck against left-handed pitching. The Yankees, you'd like to think, are better against lefties than they have been so far. It's tough. I mean, like I would like a larger price for Miami. I get where Toast is going at the minus 150, and I think Beaver at the double result. I think that makes sense. If they beat Luzardo, they're going to win the game. So I think if you're taking the Yankees, I mean, they're probably going to have a lead after 5, and then they're going to hold the lead at that point because Miami's offense is just so bad. They're not a team that I would trust to play from behind. I think they're going to have to get to Cortez if they're going to win this game. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't trust Nestor Cortez. Luzardo's a little bit better of a pitcher. If I'm playing this, actually, I'm going Marlins first 3.
I was just going to say, let's go Marlins first 5 then. I like what you're saying. I was thinking about
first
tailing.
3 because Luzardo splits the second time through. He's one of those guys that absolutely refuses to learn a third pitch. So I think, like, anytime I back Luzardo, I always back him in the first 3, whether it's an under 2.5 first 3 or a money line first 3. So I will. I'm going to get on that. Marlins first 3. If it's 0-0, we get our money back after like 25 minutes of watching baseball.
All right. So
Also, I'll be right back. My dog's losing it with all these people out in the yard with the eclipse, so I'll be right back.
No worries.
Beaver, I didn't realize how bad Jazz was against lefties.
Yeah, what I really meant what I said when I said it doesn't matter that when
I didn't realize it was that bad.
Well, guys, so if Kamish doesn't trust Nestor Cortez, which I'm inclined to say I think Nestor Cortez might be a little bit overvalued by Yankees fans, there's got to be value on Marlins first 5 at plus 115 if we got the starting pitching edge. But it doesn't.
That.
But Prop Beaver bet the exact opposite. So I guess I'll put Marlins up for the graphic for me because I think you know what, I'll type it out. I think if you ask me to put my favorite bet in this game, I think what Kamish said is that Marlins first 5 money line at plus 115. But I doubt I bet this one. I mean, we're talking about a team that's much better than the other team. So everyone's leaving. It's just me and you, Prop Beaver.
Yeah, I know. What the hell is going on?
So our poll, as you would expect, all over the Yankees here. 67% of you took the Yanks, just 20% took the Marlins. So just know, if you're betting the Yankees, and this is by no means scaring you off your bet or anything like that, but if you look at the bottom left corner, 6 a.m. this morning, Yankees were minus 160 favorites. They're now minus 150, which means usually that is indicating that some sharp money is coming in on the Marlins, buying the price down. Again, not meant to scare you off your bet or anything. It's just something to keep an eye on. The line is definitely moving towards the Marlins. All right, next game. All right, Prop Beaver, I put you up first for this one because I know you're a big Ashcraft guy.
I don't know how to describe my feelings about Ashcraft, but yeah, for this one, I don't really love it at all.
Tell me this isn't one of the best unhyped rivalries in baseball. Like, I think Brewers-Reds is awesome, and it doesn't get talked about with some of the other rivalries. I think this is a great one. Me and Toast, remember when we went head-to-head on Abbott and Corbin Burns last year, Toast?
Yeah, we were talking about it for like a week straight.
Yeah, we had a ton of fun with this rivalry last year. So this is a cool one.
I'm sorry, but I could not disagree more. Who gives a shit about this rivalry? Are you kidding? I think you had a cool week last year betting this series.
What are you talking about? We had a ton of fun.
We think that this is a cool divisional rivalry.
I'm bringing up Toast.
Who gives a crap?
Don't bring me up. I don't really have a play on this one. I really want to bet the Brewers, but I don't really want to fade the Reds at home either, and I don't really want to know what to think of Ashby, who I don't really trust in general.
I think this is a must-play Reds.
It's Brewers or pass.
What?
Yeah, it's coming off an injury, but I'm pretty sure. I'm trying to get to my notes. Sorry,
you guys are drinking that Brewers Kool-Aid way too hard.
No, I'm not. The Brewers have owned this. Hold on, give me my notes. Yeah, the Brewers have owned this Cincinnati team. 10-3 last year against this team. I don't see it from a Cincinnati side. If they get lucky and do something late, so be it. But yeah, I would be Brewers or pass for me.
I'm pulling up.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up. Hold on. I'm pulling up Ashcraft's numbers versus the Brewers.
Okay, type in at home. Make sure to type in at home at the end.
How about I'll type in whatever the hell I want, and then I'll let you know. So Ashcraft numbers. Ooh, great game against the Brewers in July. Another great game against the Brewers. His last 2 starts against the Brewers were electric.
That's dope.
Okay.
Oh,
one of them was on the road, though. One of them was on the road.
His last start against Graham Ashcraft in Great American Ballpark, 6 innings, 1 run.
Okay, now
Next
look at the
one.
rest.
Are you not entertained?
Okay.
No, go ahead and show the rest of them.
Wait, one more. Just do one more.
Quit living
rest
in
of them at home.
1996. I'm living in the now. I like the Rebs here, and I'm putting it on my list. I might bet this.
What
That's
Kyle's
awesome.
neglecting to tell you all that the 2 starts after that, he went 8 innings, gave up 17 hits and 14 runs. So
Yeah.
Back in 2019.
Nope, it was the same year, just a month earlier.
Yeah. It's very close in time.
The eclipse is screwing with your time zones and shit.
Yeah.
So I like the Reds, but it seems like Toast and Prop Beaver are leaning towards.
I didn't bet it though because I have to see Ashby do something before I can bet him. That's
I'm
all.
very high on Ashby. He has it. He has the ground ball rate. He has the high K percentage. Yes, he has it. I think he's gonna be a bet on pitcher later this season. And honestly, I think the Reds suck against lefties right now. They haven't been good whatsoever. Ashby is a guy that I think could go in and have a pretty nice game against them. I mean, we just saw Quintana have a great game against them. Benai have a great game against them. The lefty they faced before that also had a good game against them. I know this is Ashby's first action in quite a bit of time, but I think he has some really good stuff here, and I think that the Reds offense against lefties, at the very least, is overvalued. They are nowhere near where they were last year. On the other side, we got Ashcraft. He looked good in his 2024 debut against the Phillies, but this Brewers lineups absolutely owned him. A 1.048 OPS through 61 plate appearances.
What about his last 2 starts against the Brewers where he shut them down? His last 2.
Kyle, dude, you're being a clown right now. In his clown against them through a big amount of starts, he's 0-4 with a 7.2 ERA and a 1.77 WHIP. You're so hyper focused on these last 2 starts. We're talking about one of the streakier pitchers in baseball.
Because I live in the now. Because I live in the now.
That's not the now. That's actually last July. So what you're saying really doesn't make sense. Brewers have been getting to righties lately. We just saw what they did to Hancock yesterday. They have the better edge in the pen thus far too. I think the Brewers are the better team right now. I don't care what you say about drinking the Brewers Kool-Aid. I think you're disrespecting the Brewers, and the Brewers are going to.
The Brewers bullpen is criminally underrated. I think that everybody thinks that Devin Williams went down and they're really bad. They have some absolute horses in that bullpen. There's a huge edge in the back of the game to the Brewers.
Commish, can you please tell these guys that Ashcraft has pitched well against the Brewers in his last 2 starts, and he can be trusted here?
No, I'm never going to tell you to trust Graham Ashcraft. I've been burned by that guy too many times. He's got great stuff. Results just don't come. I will say, though, Ashcraft did tinker with his arsenal a little bit in his first start, so he's somebody I'm keeping an eye on. I'm still not sold on Milwaukee whatsoever, though. So if I'm picking this, I'm passing on this game, but if I'm picking this side, I'm rolling with Sauce and the Reds.
Great pick. You're seeing
bad pick. Really bad pick.
You're seeing the board. You're seeing the board properly, Kamish.
Very cloudy day ahead of you,
Commissioner. Any less interested than betting this game. I think this is a complete.
Yeah, I know. And Kyle's trying to freaking have a debate on it. This guy tries to have a debate on every game we don't care about.
No, well, you don't care about it. I just added Reds money line to my list. How come the games you like are the most important, but the games you don't like, my opinion doesn't mean anything?
I'm just saying, me and Toast are the ones who did the research. We don't have a play. You're making bets out of air here, out of fallacies. You're making a bet because he had 2 good starts against him last year. That's the only reason why you're betting this friggin' dude.
Beaver's like making a pizza. He's like,
because I'm betting him because we're getting him at a pick'em, and I'm getting the better starting pitcher at home at a pick'em.
No, incorrect about that part, but
yeah, you're right. Ashby might win the Cy Young this year.
You will.
That's the way you're talking.
You will.
Jesus, dude's gonna get fucking rocked.
He's got the ground ball K-rate combo.
All right, Tigers on the road in Pittsburgh. Commish, I put you up first for this one. Why? Oh, because you were talking about Mitch Keller last time. I forget what you even said, though, but I remember you talking about Mitch Keller in his first start.
Yeah.
Pretty short price for Mitch Keller here, minus 125 at home.
Yeah, I like the Pirates. I like Mitch Keller. He didn't have his best stuff in that first game, but I know we keep talking about it, and it's just the reality of betting.
Or the second game.
But it's the reality of betting. It's a reality of betting early baseball. I think with the cold weather and some guys just don't spin the ball as well. Corey Kluber was a guy I faded consistently every year early in the season because I had a scout tell me one time that his hands were on the smaller side, so it was harder for him to spin the baseball when it was below 50 degrees. So I think with Keller, I'm not super worried about his stuff yet. I think Pittsburgh's had a really good start to the season. I think this team's better than a lot of people realize. I do like Olsen on the mound for the Tigers, but he's not somebody that I'm scared to be on the other side of. So I like Pittsburgh here.
Yeah, that's the way I'm leaning too. The price is a little bit scary if you ask me, though. Why?
I would say a lot of bit scary. What on earth is that price?
Well, I mean, though, I get a little bit of comfort knowing the Tigers are off to a great start this year. So
that's true.
But so are the Pirates, though.
Yeah, and I would think minus 140, minus 145 would be the appropriate price for Keller against Reese Olson.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you there. So I'm a little worried about the price, but I'd say probably be on the Pirates. Are you passing because of the price here?
You're talking to me? No, I found a way to fade Mitch Keller. I'm still really not in love with what I've seen from Mitch thus far. But I don't want to back. Yeah, but I don't want to back this Tigers lineup as a whole because I've watched them play baseball the last 2 days. Jesus Christ, man. They have been really underwhelming. One guy, though, that I do believe in, he's looked good in those games, and I think that he's going to produce at a high level here. We're going with Kerry Carpenter over 1.5 bases. Wow, it's down to, what is that? Is that plus 110 or plus 130?
It's plus 110, but Andy made the graphics, so I don't know if
I was going to say, that's at plus 120. Sorry, guys.
It's at plus 120.
Sorry, we have a gremlin in the office making these graphics.
He has headphones on. He can't hear me.
Keller's looked pretty rough through 2 starts. He's got a 6.55 ERA. The K stuff isn't really working for him. 1.73 WHIP, and that was against the Nats and the Marlins, so that's not really great. There's no denying that he's definitely better at home, especially last season. But he's always been worse against lefties, and night stars is where we've really seen them get to him since 2022. He's got a 3.67 WOBA, 1.3 home run per 9, 1.64 WHIP. And meanwhile, we've got Carpenter, whose best spot in his career is on the road against righties. 162 WRC plus, 330 ISO, 963 OPS. He started off the season on a great foot thus far, killing it right now. And what I really like here is that against Mitch Keller's pitch mix from righties since 2022, Carpenter sits first on the Tigers in X-Slug, WOBA, ISO, and barrel per plate appearance. This season, he sits first in all those categories as well against that pitch mix. I think we're getting a little bit of a discount right now because his plate appearances have been all over the place lately. They've been really platooning heavily. And if the righty they're facing gets shelled and the lefty comes in the bullpen, they were willing to take Carpenter out. But Keller's a guy who should be able to go at least 6 innings here. Should get 3 plate appearances against him. Most of the relievers for the Pirates are also righties as well. And Carpenter is 3-1 with 4+ plate appearances this year, smoking that mark in the 3 wins. And he's 42-36 of the over since last season with 4+ plate appearances. So I just think that there's a lot of value on him here. He's under his last 5 of 6, and the odds are pretty low for a total basis prop for a guy who's under his last 5 of 6. I think the books are trying to tell us something here, so I'm riding with Carpenter.
Yeah, you would think someone who's only hit this one of his last 6 and they're giving you plus 120 means I think it's a good chance it's going to hit.
I thought I was going to be able to get it like plus 160, and then when I woke up and saw it was only a plus 130, like even the softer books were posting at plus 130, I'm like, all right, that means that the books agree with me. I got to play that.
Yep, agreed. I like that. Someone said Detroit. Hold on, let me go find the comment. Detroit Tigers in their last 50 road games, 29-21 in the first 5 money line, a 31% ROI. So first 5 money lines in Detroit road games dating back to last season, very profitable. I don't know if that factors into anything, but I thought it was an interesting comment.
I think that's a good little stat there. Thank you. Whoever brought that up.
His name was Eric.
I can tell you, Beaver, you're almost guaranteed 1 base because I'm a hits, runs, and RBI whisperer, and he's at minus 125 on most. So
you just call yourself a hits, run, and RBI whisperer?
Yes.
He's a Herbie whisperer.
What I do. It's just what I do, man. I think you guys are fucking high, though, about the Pirates, just so you guys, for the record. I don't understand what you guys are seeing with Mitch Keller. I tried to get there with him in Miami. He looked absolutely terrible. And not only does he look terrible, he's given up a ton of hits. 8 hits to Washington, 7 hits to Miami, going back to last year, at the end of the year, 9 hits to Chicago, 12 to Atlanta. I mean, I get that Detroit isn't those teams and stuff, but Mitch Keller has not looked good in any way. So it'd be Detroit or pass for me. I think Reese Olson has looked pretty damn decent. On the road against the Dodgers last season, he went 6 innings, gave up 1 run. This year against the Mets, went 5 2/3, didn't give up a run. Against the White Sox last year on the road, again 7 innings, no runs. So again, I'm just not there with Pittsburgh. Not to mention, I don't really there with Pittsburgh's bullpen. David Bender just blew a save. Chapman's always, kind of up in the air. You never know what you're going to get with him. He really got lucky to get that hold the other night. Pittsburgh got very lucky yesterday to win that ball game. If Gunnar Henderson doesn't throw that ball away, they don't win yesterday. I think they probably lose today.
That's sharp toast. I like it, buddy.
I'm not going to lie. My mind has been changed throughout this. I think I would go Tigers here, too.
So let me change it back for you. So Mitch Keller, he's been in the zone 2 out of 3 first pitch strikes both games. He's been BABIP to death. I mean, he gave up a little bit of hard contact.
What do you mean by that, BABIP to death? I know what the stat means, but what are you implying by saying that?
So typically BABIP is going to be around like 290, 300 long term for pitchers. So if you see major deviations one way or the other without like batted ball data to explain that, so like if you give up a ton of hard contact, like your friend Patrick Corbin, sometimes you'll run a higher BABIP. But for Keller, I mean, he gave up a little bit more hard contact against Washington, but Miami, I mean I actually thought he pitched pretty well against Miami. He's been in the zone a lot. He's getting a lot of swings and misses out of the zone. It's not a major concern for me at this point. I think the price is fair. That's all I'll say. I'm not going to die on the hill of Pittsburgh's going to win this game, but there's no reason for me to panic with Mitch Keller yet.
All right, so I'll put Detroit up, but it's probably a pass for me. This is a really tricky game.
It is a tricky one.
So our poll, 64%, 28%. So most of the viewers are betting the Pirates here and backing Mitch Keller.
And part of the reason I like Detroit is because I saw a lot of Pirates love today, just for the record.
You saw a lot of Pirates love?
Yeah.
All right, next game, Seattle-Toronto. You're getting Seattle plus money here. Castillo, but Berrios looks good, man. What do you think?
Yes, he does.
Oh, I'm up. Cool. First 5 under 4.5 at -115. Super square. Do not care. Both of these offenses have been really damn bad, and now you're going to give me Seattle facing Berrios, who's been really good. He has really good numbers against them. I think we can get rid of the Jose Berrios' bad narrative. I think he's been pretty damn solid over the last year or so, give or take a couple starts. And then Jose Castillo, really good. 2 starts in Toronto, 11 innings, only 4 runs, 9 strikeouts. So he's been somewhat serviceable against Toronto. He hasn't been serviceable lately, but all those starts have been at home. I think this nice little road start should be nice for him. Not to mention you have Toronto, who just played, 10 games on the road, including Houston, the Yankees and Rays. All those are division foes, and now they got to come back home in their first game. I just think that there might be a little bit of a flat spot for them too. So I just did first 5 under 4.5. I know it's square, but it's one of those ones where if I didn't play it and it's 1-1 or 2-1 after 5, I'd be so pissed off that I didn't. So I had to play it.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to argue with that. I don't trust either lineup, and Berrios has looked great so far this season, and Castillo's so due for a good start. So, I mean, it just this game might be 0-0 after 5. Maybe alt line, first 5 under a half. So, yeah, I'm putting up the same thing as Toast. I don't see how you argue with that. 2 pitchers that I think are pretty solid and pretty reliable. 2 lineups that I don't trust at all. So, yeah, I'm putting the same bet up as Toast. I'm tailing. Commish?
I'm going to argue with it. I should like the over here.
What?
I do.
All right,
I don't
you
trust
better have some good
Castillo.
reasoning because I think what?
I'm really not.
I'll give him that.
It didn't make my card. It's one of my officials that didn't make the card, so I'm just on it personally. But Luis Castillo's been so bad, man, and I think there are legitimate reasons to look at him and think like this is not the guy who we think he is, and not in the zone at all. Very hittable when he has been in the zone. There were some red flags going back to last season that I know I talked about with Toast. I mean, if you're gonna have a good game, it's gonna be against this freaking god awful Toronto lineup. So I definitely get that. I get why you'd want to be on the under here. And if I lose, I'm not gonna be surprised because I think the Blue Jays. I really do think the Blue Jays have one of the worst offenses in all of Major League Baseball, and I don't think that's gonna change. But the Mariners, they might be able to throw 6 lefties in the lineup against Berrios tonight. And as good as Berrios has been, he got a really right-handed heavy Toronto lineup. Tampa Bay lineup and a really right-handed heavy Houston lineup in both of those games. He didn't miss a ton of bats in either game. Again, I'm with you, Toast. I think we need to scrap the whole Jose Berrios is not a good pitcher narrative. I like Berrios a lot, but he's definitely better against righties than lefties. I think in this spot, I would want to be on Seattle because of the offense, but I don't trust Castillo. And for me, that means I have to play the over in this spot.
That's crazy. I mean, I maybe if you're playing the over, I like how at least you're going full game because Munoz doesn't look good. The Jays bullpen is obviously crushed without those 2 arms. Yeah. So maybe I could see a fade of the bullpens, but I don't.
I will say too that under is pretty super. It's super square. Like as Beaver would say, any dummy with a chart can figure that out.
Speaking of dummies with a chart, here comes Prop Beaver.
Yeah, and here I am, my super square play. Now it's actually not that square considering he's gotten shelled. I'm on the complete opposite wave of Commish. Sure, he didn't look good the first 2 games. I'm riding with Luis Castillo. It's bounce back time for him. The first 2 starts have been egregious. There's no.
Wait, so you're on Seattle?
No, I went Castillo under 2.5 earned runs. The xERA, the xFIP suggests that he's getting extremely unlucky thus far. I know it's a very small sample size, but I'm going to take what I got. He's on the road here. Not normally a place that I love to back him, but I'm going to make an exception because the first two lineups he faced, Boston and Cleveland, have not only produced well against righties lately, but they're very lefty heavy. The current Jays lineup that's projected to start tonight has 7 righties in it. The 2 lefties are Biggio and Kiermaier. If those 2 lefties want to go ahead and beat me tonight, I can handle that. But these righties in the Jays lineup have been absolutely horrendous, and I'm just not really seeing it tonight. We've seen Luis Castillo perform drastically better against righties and lefties the last 2 seasons. Against righties, specifically in night games, he's got a 233 WOBA, 0 home run per night, and a 244 FIP. The Jays lineup has been brutal against righties. We all know that. The last 7 starting righties to face them have combined for a 1.1 ERA, 0.93 WHIP, and not one of those pitchers have allowed 3+ earned runs. I think if there's any spot for Luis Castillo to bounce back, it is against a righty-heavy lineup that is flat, that sucks right now, and on top of that is returning from a 10-game road trip. That's also another thing. I hate the spot for the Blue Jays in this one. This is your first game back from that long travel. On top of that, you're in Canada, different things you got to go through to get into the country. So, in my opinion, I think Luis Castillo, he comes out motivated. He's dominated this lineup before. I think he go ahead and he does it again. If Castillo gets hit up here, I will go ahead and I'll give my friend Kamish a round of applause, and I will say, okay, Luis Castillo, you are concerning me. We're going to need to look into that. But today, the Jays suck. I'm going to keep blindly fading them. They are horrendous.
I could see it. Dude,
I will say,
I'm not going to defend the Blue Jays lineup. So,
All right.
if Castillo gets hit up, we should pull like a Suge Knight and F Seattle pitching staff and everything about them, because they have just been absolutely a disappointment this whole year.
Did you say pull a Suge Knight?
That is crazy. What do you want us to put a hate out on them?
No, like, fuck Bad Boy, fuck the record label, fuck Seattle, fuck the pitching staff. I'm done with that team. That's it. Jeez, I'm not calling hits out here. I'm what are we? What am I think I'm a gangster or something?
No, well, I just.
You want us to put a hit out on him?
I'm like, just confused.
I'm on live television. I'm not that dumb.
Next up, Mets Braves.
I'm putting a hit out on Strider. Calling it now.
People's like,
well, that's what happened.
You want us to put a hit out on him?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, Kamish. Watch yourself.
Proppy, straight question for a straight answer. How do you not take the hottest team in baseball at a big plus price?
Because Julio Teheran is on the mound. That is how
against his old team, revenge spot.
Braves double result -120. Set it and forget it. The Braves may score 7 runs through the first 5 here. I don't even think Charlie Morton's that good, but as long as he doesn't get absolutely shelled, they should win the first 5. They have their high leverage arms. Iglesias and Minter didn't go yesterday. They would love nothing more than to beat the shit out of the Mets today. So they're really gonna go for it. I'll take the double result -120. These teams are not in the same class.
You do know that the Mets are Charlie Morton's father, right?
Well, actually, by your standards, Sauce, his last 2 starts against them have been excellent.
You can't narrow it down. You can't narrow it down to just 2 starts when you're doing this stuff, man.
I would agree.
You got to look at a larger sample size.
Sauce, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Last night, I said I wanted to take the Mets team total over 3.5 at like 125, 130 or something like that. It's up to like 4.5 juiced up or plus one.
Interesting.
Money. So I do think that's a little interesting. I'm not going to bet the Mets. I missed the team total number. I'm no way I'm getting to 4. I wanted 3.5 at that 130 number. But Charlie Morton hasn't gave up a run in his last 2 starts. One against Washington, both on the road. One against Washington, one against the White Sox. Both those lineups are terrible. I'm sorry, that Washington start was last year. Sorry, it's only for 1 start for him. But his last 2 starts against the Mets, he's went 13 innings, hasn't given up a run. I don't know.
Gun to your head, what would you bet, bro?
Mets team total over 3.5.
Oh, okay. So all right. And someone asked about double results. I'm pretty sure I bet them on Caesars, DraftKings. I'm pretty sure like all the major books have them.
Yeah, they all have them.
Yeah, pretty much. I think FanDuel's a tricky one though, where you can't. There's no like double result offered. I think you have to make it in the SGP.
So
pretty much every book you
if
can
your
do it
sports book doesn't offer double result, which by the way it probably does if you look under game props, probably there
or game parlays too.
Right?
That's where it's under on DraftKings.
Like popular SGPs, they all have different categories. But if your book for some reason does not offer it, what a double result actually is parlayed the first 5 run line with the money line. So it would be Atlanta first 5 minus a half run and Atlanta money line. That's technically what a double result is, broke it down. That being said, Mets are red hot, and I'm going to do something Toast hates. I'm taking the 1.5. Mets
I just
up.
don't. You know why I hate that? Because in what world, if Julio Teheran pitches well, in what world do the Mets lose this game by 1 run? They're
You want to
going
know
win
how?
this game.
I think I think the Mets are going to be up 6-2, blow it, lose 7-6. That's how.
Okay, all right, I'll give you that.
So yeah, I'm going to be betting this. So Mets plus 1.5. Let me add it to my list. Commish knows. Commish will tell you guys. The Mets are the move here, right, Commish?
Hey, I've just been watching the futures market, and I know somebody sharp that got them at 75-1.
You know that guy?
Earlier in the week, and now they're back to 60-1. Most of these books.
How do you like that? It's called value, guys. That's called value.
Trophies in the mail.
I'm just a value hunter.
Sauce is going to have the futures tickets on all 30 teams at the best price by the end of the season.
Just the red hot ones, like the Mets.
Look, I'll be honest. Like, just a learning for me. I never ever used to even look at the plus 1.5 because I psychologically I think I agree with Toast of like if like, I feel like you're giving away a lot of value, but because there's just not there's not an extraordinary number of games that end with a 1-run margin of loss. I think when you get these underdogs at such a big price, you might as well just pull the trigger on the full game. But like the White Sox I've been following, I think they're 6-4 covering the plus 1.5, but they're 1-8 overall. I know the Braves scorned me over the weekend because I had the minus 1.5 with Strider on the mound when he pitched through the torn UCL. They came back and won by 1 at home. Tampa yesterday had minus 1.5. They blew the lead in the bottom of the ninth. They won by 1 run. So like I think I'm much more open to the idea of playing a road team plus 1.5 because of exactly what you just said. Like if they're ahead late and the home team comes back and wins it off the bullpen, there's a decent chance it ends with a 1-run game. That being said, Teheran is terrible, right? Like we all know this.
Come on, dude. No, come on. He had a few good starts with the Brewers last year.
All via luck.
Tell me some shit.
Pretty much.
Tell me some commission shit. He's got spin rate or something cool.
Yeah,
he's got a spin rate.
Among the worst. Among the worst. No, I think like my thing here is, and I think I'm with Toast with the Mets team total over 3.5. 3.5, first of all, is not a very high number. Second of all, it's Charlie freaking Morton, who I don't know if anybody watched him pitch that first game. And again, it's cold weather. We're still in that volatile part of MLB season. But Charlie Morton at multiple points during that game was at risk of giving up multiple runs and was fortunate enough to get out of it. That helps when you're playing the White Sox lineup. The Mets, we can poke fun at the Mets all we want. They still got some decent dudes 1 through 9 in that batting order who can at least put some bat on ball and hit the ball with some decent exit velo from time to time. Charlie Morton for me last year, 4.64 xERA. Year before that, roughly league average. Like he's not a stud, and the Braves bullpen has not been overly elite. Like I think there's some guys that you can get some runs against in the late innings here. The Mets are also very familiar with the Braves top to bottom because it's a division opponent. So for me, I think. Can I bet Julio Teheran? Absolutely freaking not. But can I fade Charlie Morton at 3.5? I can get behind that.
Sauce, I missed something, and I'm kind of on board with you right now a little bit. Not the 1.5. I don't give a shit about that. I'll take the money line, but if I do. But Julio Teheran had 2 starts against the Braves last year. One of them, he went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits and run. And then a week later, he faced that same offense, the best offense some said ever saw in the world, and he gave up 9 runs. So he has the ability to pitch well against them. And if he didn't see him back-to-back starts, who knows what would have happened.
Also, the Braves with Strider getting hurt, with Max Fried not looking himself, their confidence is rattled. They're scared of these Mets.
For sure.
This is a rivalry game.
I'm sure.
So this is a Mets game.
Very scary Mets team right now.
I will say, I want, like I've always said, I want Charlie Morton game 1 or 2 ALCS. I could care less about Charlie Morton on a Monday in April or May or whatever we are.
I think Charlie Morton could care less about a Monday game for what it's worth. That guy's been around the block about 47 times. So he's ready for October.
Dodgers Twins is up next. Commish, your boy Bailey Ober's on the mound. I know you're a fan of his.
I like Bailey Ober a lot. He looked absolutely awful in his first start against the Royals.
I mean, it's April.
I gotta play.
It is, and I'm not.
You want to go first, Toast?
Yeah,
no, he can go.
first. Yeah,
Toast
okay,
goes,
sure.
When someone goes, I gotta play. You
I
gotta
gotta
You got to come up and
play.
lead. You have to.
I gotta play. All right, go ahead. What's your play?
I kind of like it a lot too. The more I like it, the more I look at it. Twins first 5 money line plus 100. I just really, the more I look at it, the more I like it. I really like Bailey Ober. I understand he looked like absolute dog shit his first time out against the Royals. 1 1/3 inning, 9 hits, 8 runs. It was really, really, really bad. But he did have a start last year against the Dodgers where he went 6 innings, only gave up 6 hits and 1 run. He ended the year really, really, really looking good for the Twins as well. James Paxton's not a guy I trust. I think the price tells me a lot about this as well. I understand that James Paxton looked decent against San Francisco, but at the same time, I'm not really going to trust him. And then we're looking at a Twins lineup that actually has some decent guys against left-handed pitching: Buxton, Correa, Margot, Jeffers, all these guys. We saw Jeffers hit a late home run the other night. He's terrible, but it's there. I just think that this price tells a lot, not to mention the fact that I absolutely hate the spot for the Dodgers. They just played Chicago. They just played in wet, rainy Chicago. Not to mention yesterday, there was a huge rain delay. So they had to get up, get ready for a game, sit, do that rain delay, then get up and get ready again. You're asking the Dodgers to get up for a game 3 times in 24 hours and travel in that spot. I just don't really like it. So I'm going to take the Twins through the first 5, and I like my chances.
Can I ask why isolate to the first 5? Twins have a good bullpen.
Because I'm deathly afraid of the Dodgers bats.
Can I ask why your ass always asks why isolated to the first 5? Somebody takes the first 5 bet.
Well, when you have a good bullpen like the Twins,
I don't trust the Twins bullpen like that, and I would be dared. Yeah. As much
Twins
as
bullpen has been good thus far, but they're still missing their 2 best arms.
I was gonna say, I understand they've been decent, but at the same time, they've faced Cleveland, Milwaukee, and the Royals. I don't really know how I feel about those teams. I'm just not there with the Twins bullpen yet. I'll take my chances with a plus 100 in the first 5. I'll take my chances.
all right. So Tosh likes the first 5 money line.
Not to mention, you never know when those Dodgers, you're going to give the Dodgers 9 full at bats being on the road. So it's not like you're going to, it's just a lot.
I know. I saw a graphic in here. Looks like you like the Twins early on, also, Prop Beaver.
Yes, I do. This price reeked to me yesterday. As soon as I saw the Dodgers at like minus 140, I was like, what the hell is that? And then it had gotten up to minus 160 this morning, back down to minus 135. So I really think that, I don't know if I could trust that Bailey Ober is going to go out here and deal today, and that's why this line is so close. But what I could more so see is that the Twins get the James Paxton. I know, Over and Twins, they don't really go together this season, but I think that they're actually due to make things competitive here. They had the day off. The Twins can't hit against righties for shit thus far. They've shown that. 75 WRC plus, 288 OBP. But against lefties, that shoots up to an 123 WRC plus and a 389 OBP. That's 100 plus points more. And while the power has been weak in both areas, the Twins have been drastically better at getting on base against lefties through the small sample size we have. And I think it's worth noting that Reagan's allowing 2 runs and 8 base runners would have been the most of any righty this season versus Minnesota. The Twins faced Carrasco, Bybee, Ross, Eunice, Singer, and Lugo. So the righty competition they faced wasn't good. They really struggled against them, but the one lefty they saw was excellent competition, and they had their best effort offensively this season. So that shows me a little something there. And what I really like is the fact that their walk rate is at 13%, 6th highest in the MLB. Paxton in the game against San Francisco looked awful with command. He walked 5 different guys. He allowed 9 different base runners on, but somehow he managed to escape that game, allowing 0 runs. I think he's due to allow some runs here. He's only pitched 12 combined innings in the springs and in the bigs with the San Francisco game and in the spring training start. So that's only 12 innings. I don't think he's totally stretched out yet. On top of that, he struggled mostly on the road for most of his career. Correa and Santana have a 1.353 OPS against him through 30-plus at-bats. So those are 2 guys, 2 key contributors to this lineup against lefties who could get to him. On top of that, Paxton's now allowed his last 10 of 14 road opponents over this mark. So I really think that if the Twins are going to win this game, if it's going to even be close, like the books are suggesting, the Twins are going to have to get the James Paxton here. So I think that's the route to go.
I mean, I don't trust Paxton either, but Kamish, tell me this isn't a spot to wait. Because, all right, you want to tell me the Twins have the pitching advantage with Ober at home? Sure, I'll give that to you. So I won't be touching the first 5, but tell me this isn't a spot to live bet the Dodgers down 2-0 in the 4th.
No, I wouldn't do that. I don't. This is a tough spot for me. Like Bailey Ober, I was really high on coming into the season, and again, it was just one start. Everybody's gonna have one bad start at one point or another this season. He only had one whiff on 23 swings. Like that was legitimately, at least at a minimum, a really big yellow flag for me, because even when guys have bad starts, usually they can still get some swings and misses if that's in their profile. That was a little bit of a concern for me. The Dodgers, I've been on every show with you guys talking about how bad that Dodgers defense is, and if I have to watch Max Muncy get flat-footed at third base one more time when I'm on the Dodgers in some capacity, I'm going to lose my freaking mind. I can't. Like, I don't know how you build an entire pitching staff that hits a bunch of baseball, it gets a bunch of ground balls, and then you have a terrible infield defense behind them. It's driving me nuts, but it's hurting them. Like we talked about that it might. I think this is a more fair price than many people realize. Like I've seen a lot of people betting the Dodgers, like just blindly betting the Dodgers, saying that you get one of the best teams in baseball at this price that you have to bet them.
I mean, how can you argue with that though?
I think that's a fair approach, but I think it's also a fair approach to say that James Paxton has not looked phenomenal. The Twins do profile, in my opinion, a little bit better against left-handed pitching than they do against right-handed pitching. This is also another one of those games that could end up being a little wonky with the travel stuff. Like Toast mentioned, the conditions at Wrigley yesterday. The Dodgers were all over the umpire crew, Major League Baseball, everybody. All I read all morning was the whining coming from the Dodgers about how all that was handled. Today, they're in Minnesota after a travel day. It's still not super warm. Roto Grinders Weather Edge has this minus 47% home run rate, minus 17.5% total runs scored based on a sample of games that have matching weather conditions historically. So this could be just like a really weird travel day, low scoring game in bad weather. I really don't know how to bet this. Like, I don't really want to bet the under because of what we saw Bailey Ober look like. But I think if he comes out and he looks halfway decent early, I would live bet the under in this spot.
I'll tell you how to bet it. Dodgers at the short price, minus 135. Bailey Ober's cool, and I'm not even the biggest Paxton guy, but like the Twins still need to hit and score runs, and I don't trust that lineup at all. Hold on one second. Let me just pull up.
Coming through today.
Oh,
To
yeah?
answer your question,
You got a
Dodgers at
feeling?
short price, you really can't argue it. I'm just saying. I get it.
I'm not arguing. I'm just telling you.
No, I know. I wasn't talking to you.
No, you can't argue it. You heard him.
I already know.
Pulling through.
Eva already knows.
One sec. I just want to see.
Also for real type shit.
All right, Twins do have better numbers against lefties, but still, I don't trust this Twins lineup in the slightest. It'll be Dodgers or pass for me at the short price. I don't even hate the look of Twins' first five because they do have the pitching advantage. So it's not like I think Toast and Beaver are being crazy here. But as a whole,
Went to Fangraphs to double check that we were wrong about them being against lefties. I think that you think we're crazy.
I forgot you guys can see my
It's
screen.
like these people that I trust to come on my channel, I'm just going to
That's a
fact check
prick.
them real quick.
This guy's an actual prick.
I forgot you guys can see my screen.
Thought it was
Thinks we're
funny.
lying, bro.
Oh, that was funny shit. He's
I
like,
love
you
it.
know what? Yeah, I'll take it.
I did go and fact check them. All right, so Phillies. That's funny. Phillies, Cardinals. Prop Beaver, true or false statement? You're a man who trusts Spencer Turnbull.
Phew. See, I can't just answer
it was
that.
a true or false?
No,
That's Beaver's talk. I want to say yes, but I don't have anything to back
Here's
it
the
up with.
thing. I really want to trust Spencer Turnbull. I
Fair.
really do. I want to trust Spencer Turnbull. I feel like something's that we saw how good he was before he got injured. That year before he got hurt, he was amazing. But I mean, he only had one start. It was against the Reds. The Reds were away from Great American Ballpark. Now he's gonna be on the road. We've seen him struggle much more on the road in his career. But at the same time, people could bring up the fact that he got lit up by the Cardinals last year. If you look at the numbers against the current lineup, he's actually been excellent against them. Whoever got to him isn't in the current lineup right now, whether it be due to injury or whether they went to a different team. So I think that provides a little bit of value there. And then the bottom half of the Cardinals lineup right now against righties, well, against anybody in general, is just so bad. It's hard to really love them. But what I went with here was Miles Michaelis under walks. The problem is the line moves so much, so I can't really give it out anymore. Went from minus 140 to minus 160. I loved it. I thought it had great value. The dude, through 142 plate appearances against the Phillies, has 2 walks.
Damn.
Two walks.
But you can't. It's out of price now.
Yeah, it's at -160 now. He has 0 walks and 3 home starts against them as well. Not a single walk. So I was like, -140. That should be like -200. And now it's at -160, -170. So yeah, that's what I had for this one. It's a parlay piece. If you want something to parlay with, I think Michaelis should be like a -200, -250 leg right there. So,
Beaver, I saw the same thing that you did. And to answer your question, Lars Nootbaar was the guy that got to him. 3 hits from the leadoff spot. That's what got him.
He had a field day.
Kamish, same question. True or false? You are a man who trusts Spencer Turnbull.
False.
A direct answer. Hear that, Prop Beaver?
Yeah, because I've respect and class for Turnbull, unlike this pig. He just thinks, oh, Turnbull's bad. Turnbull's bad. I have feelings for him.
Respect people that don't deserve respect. That's the issue.
Feelings for him. I love him. No.
Because I have feelings for him.
I have feelings.
I just think the kid. I think the kid's solid. Kamish,
go ahead.
Go eat, King.
So you're going to take the Cardinals here, then, Kamish?
No, actually, I took the over, and I'm prepared to get hurt by it. I took it last night. You have to fade Michaelis in some capacity every 5 days when he's on the mound. You can't let this guy pitch for another couple of years and not try to make some money off of him. He's just bad. Like he's just really bad. He had 3 whiffs on 39 swings against the Padres, 6 on 35 swings against the Dodgers. 69 pitchers have thrown at least 10 innings so far. Only 5 have allowed a higher contact percentage on pitches in the zone than Michaelis. It's very, very bad, to say the least. And no pitchers allowed more contact on pitches out of the zone than Michaelis, which means guys are able to keep spitting on and fouling off those pitches outside the zone to extend at bats, force him to come into the zone with something more competitive for a hitter. So it's just like that's a very dangerous combination for a pitcher. He has pretty good command, and the fact that these guys keep fouling off these pitches, he's probably not going to walk a bunch of guys. So I don't hate the under 1.5 that Beaver mentioned, but he's really bad. Spencer Turnbull, 5 innings, scoreless baseball against the Reds, but the Reds swung at a lot of pitches out of the zone that night. Also, some super, super friendly pitcher weather conditions that night at Citizens Bank. He's not that good. He's got his new slider sweeper, I think, is a decent pitch, but I don't really trust Spencer Turnbull. Both of these offenses last year were pretty good against right-handed pitching. They've both been pretty bad against right-handed pitching so far, so that's kind of where it's like I'm prepared to get hurt because they might not show up. We'll see what happens, but these are both top 10 offenses against right-handed pitching last year. Neither bullpen looks really great. The Cardinals, their bullpen's really been on this like on a day, off a day schedule as of late. We'll see what happens with them. But Jose Alvarado probably not rested if he comes in the game, if he's even available.
Bing, bing, bing.
We'll see what happens. I had to take the over. Like there's too many things that are like, Kamish, bet the over here. And in my head, I'm like, the way they're pricing this game makes me think it's an under. But from a pure baseball perspective, I just had to fire on.
Well, 9 is a decent total. It's not like it's a super low total.
Yeah, but it's
9
been
solid.
at plus 100. It's been at plus 100 the whole day and yesterday, and it's not moving.
Well, I'm seeing some people in the comments say under, so maybe there is some action coming in on the under. Maybe the over isn't as obvious as you're seeing it. Toast?
I'm on the Cards.
What?
I first and foremost. A little bit of a fade the public situation. I know seems like everybody's on the Phillies, but Michaelis, his last 3 starts against the Phillies at home going back to 2019. I know that goes back a long way, but he had 2 really good ones and a bad one. And I don't really trust this Phillies team yet. They didn't look fantastic against Washington, really. I mean, they had chances to score more runs than they should have, and they didn't. So I'm just really not in a spot where I trust this Phillies offense. I'm also not in love with the Phillies bullpen, considering the fact that Alvarado's went 2 of the last 3 days. Hoffman had 22 2 days ago. He should be fine. Dominguez went yesterday and 2 of the last 3 days. Strom's went 2 of the last 3 days. Marte went 23 yesterday. And St. Louis didn't pitch anybody in their bullpen yesterday besides their 2 long relievers in Fernandez and King. So they have everybody in their bullpen available. So I think this game could be a lot closer than people think they are. I trust the Cardinals versus right-handed pitching. I mean, they have multiple guys from Donovan, Goldschmidt, Gorman. Contreras has been hitting the ball really well lately. So I just think this is a really good spot to play the Cardinals at home. So I took the Cardinals.
I believe Contreras got scratched tonight, by the way, unfortunately.
Again?
Phillies.
I believe
hurt
so.
He's got to be hurt then.
Fading Michaelis, putting it on my list here. Phillies money line.
He's got to be hurt.
Toast is freaking crazy.
Yeah, he's not in the lineup. Ivan Herrera's in the lineup today.
The
Oh, you're right. They had him in there batting third when I looked, but you're right.
I have him confirmed on Roto in the lineup.
No, they updated the lineup.
Oh my God.
60%.
Well, I
this
haven't
is
bet
how we're
it yet,
getting
thank
hurt.
God.
This is how we're getting hurt, guys.
60% to 20% in favor of the Phillies. No question that most of the action's coming in on the Phillies. Definitely the heavy public side. I don't care. I'm still down to bet it. It's on my list.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same without Contreras, though. That sucks. He was confirmed in, so that's yeah.
I felt the same about the Brewers yesterday without Yelich, and they scored like 10 runs. So
I know. I think I'm still going to
stop
play
believing.
it. I just wanted to say it does suck. That's all. So does this
stop
fucking
believing.
game.
Yeah, I know. What the hell?
No Framber, right?
No.
Yeah,
not
so
Framber.
it's like-
So this graphic says Framber Valdez. Obviously, I'm sure you've heard Framber Valdez not pitching in this game. I believe it's a rookie, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
Blair
something.
Haney or something.
So what's the updated line on this?
minus 130 for the Rangers.
Okay, so let me-
Plus 110 for the Astros.
Rangers minus 130. Is the total still 9? Probably like 9.5, 10 now, right?
I thought it was pretty high in the first place. Yeah, it's at 10 consensus.
Okay, so here's the updated line. Sorry, I typed the poll without thinking. So this is the updated line with the Framber news updated. I mean, I have a feeling we're not going to have much to say on this one. This pitching change just happened. What was that, an hour and a half ago?
Yeah,
So
I'm
not going to bet this game.
Yeah, I'm not either. I'm betting. I got my money back from Houston. I'm going to tell everybody. I mean, it's pretty clear. Everybody's going to get their money back if they bet it. So,
and if your sportsbook doesn't automatically get your money back when they change the starting pitcher, just reach out to them, and they probably will, because their competitors are giving people funds when there's a starting pitching change. So if your sportsbook didn't void your bet and give you your money back, if you reach out to them, they probably will. So let's just move on to the next one. Unless anyone has anything to say, we still have a bunch of games to get to, and it's 5.
Absolutely not.
Let's just move on. All right. Next game. D-backs Rockies.
Smell that?
Don't do it.
It's a
I
trap.
go first. Let me go first.
Yeah, I know you're going to fade Gallon and take the Rockies here, Toast. Let me go first. Let me go first.
Let me do it. Let me do it. Let me do it.
All
Let me
right.
do it. I want to see all the comments. Tell them how stupid I am. I just want to see it. I want to feel it.
All right, Toast, you have the floor.
First and foremost, Zach Gallen is going to get rocked sooner rather than later. I promise you guys that. But this is more of a spot thing for me. 2 different spots that I like to play. Call me crazy. I love playing Colorado when they're played the previous series at home. So they've been at home for multiple days, and then they're facing a team that has to come in there without any days getting used to that elevation. Throw on the fact that Arizona just played at home. They played a home series. Then they had to go all the way to the East Coast, to the east of the East Coast in Atlanta, play 3 games in Atlanta, one of those games being extra innings. And now they got to fly all the way across the country up to Colorado with elevation. I just really, really, really hate the spot for them. If there is a spot to get to with the Rockies, I mean, I understand that Kyle Freeland looked really, really bad his last couple starts, but he also has thrown a couple gems against Arizona. I mean, nothing spectacular, but it's not like he's getting absolutely throttled. I understand that the Arizona lineup is really, really good. I mean, they've looked really good, but this spot is absolutely horrendous for them. So yeah, I took the Rockies on the money line at plus 145 or whatever it is.
Dude. I mean, what you said about the travel definitely makes sense. First game at Coors Field, that is the thing. But dude, this isn't like minus 250. They're minus 175. It's not enough of a payout.
Yeah, I'm good with where I'm at, bro.
Kamish,
do
you agree with him?
No. No. Because he bet the Rockies money line. I just can't get behind anyone philosophically that believes the Rockies are going to win a game on any given day.
Go ahead. Bet the Snakes to score runs tonight. Go ahead.
They're in Coors.
No, I bet the Diamondbacks.
You should do that. You should do that.
Do it.
It's not like they're begging you to do that tonight.
It's free.
Look,
Snakes
if
minus
it's a
1.5.
trap, if it's a trap, it's a trap. I bet the Diamondbacks over 2.5 first 5. You look at part of the novelty of being a left-handed pitcher is the fact that you're kind of a rare breed, that teams don't see lefties very often. So there's this novelty factor when you're on the mound where guys are seeing the baseball from the other side, from different arm slots. This is Arizona's 11th game. This is the 7th time they've faced a left-handed starting pitcher already. They scored 10 runs in 2 1/3 against Freeland, 4 runs in 4 2/3 against Gomber, 3 runs in 5 innings against Cortez, 2 runs in 5 1/3 with 5 extra base hits against Rodon, 8 runs in 4 1/3, 3 extra base hits against Freed. They faced Chris Sale yesterday. They had 2 runs on him in 5 1/3. I just have to bet it. If it's a trap, it's a trap. If Toast wins and I wins money and I lose money, then I'll tip my cap. I just have to bet this right here. One thing to note: the Diamondbacks have scored 2 runs this season in the 8th and 9th inning. So if you're betting a team total here, I know the Rockies bullpen has been bad. It's just something to be mindful of, that the Diamondbacks have been jumping all over starting pitchers all season and then not scoring in the late innings. We were talking about this late last night in the DMs, and our theory is that it has to do with the fact that they're facing a lot of righties in the late innings, and this lineup is just not nearly as good against righties as it is against lefties. So we'll see what happens. The weather is a pretty net neutral game. I think Toast had the ballpark pound numbers, and Rotogrinders Weather Ed, they were pretty much in agreement. Less home runs tonight than usual, but runs should still be about the same as we're used to at Coors Field. Kyle Freeland has just been so bad. He's a lefty. The Diamondbacks have killed lefties. 2.5 first 5. If it doesn't hit, it doesn't hit, and I move on to tomorrow. But I can't let that bet cash and watch from the sidelines just because I'm spooked at how they're booking the game.
We'll both win. That's easy.
So Toast,
I hope because Zach Gallen is a very fadeable guy. We've talked about this.
Right,
so for me,
but
that's fine.
But there's no where Toast is wrong is there's no way just because they were on a flight that all of a sudden the bats are going to be off when they've been red hot against lefties. So the move is to go right here with the over. You want to fade Gallen, you play the over at this short number. 10.5 in Coors Field, that's like a 4.5. That's Coors Field. 10.5 is a low total. You just play the over if you want to fade Gallen. Trying to bank on the Rockies winning a game. Prop Beaver, tell him, Prop Beaver.
Yeah, tell me.
I would agree. I would agree with Toast if anything. But the move in this game is to pass. Every prop line I see in this game is basically screaming at you, bet Gallen's overs, bet Gallen's overs. And then they're also screaming at you, bet Freeland's unders, bet Freeland's unders. He sucks. But guess what? Freeland just allowed 10 runs in the first half. Team totals at 2.5 at Coors. The hell is that about? That's some freak shit. That makes 0 sense. Freeland has a 27 ERA to start this season. That makes 0 sense. I'm just personally, I'd rather stay away from this one. I feel like the Rockies are going to win. I feel like the Bucs are going to clean house on this game tonight. So that's how I feel about this one.
That total was 11.5 or 11 last night, and dropped down to 10.5 across the board too.
Yeah, I really feel like they're going to clean up on this one. A low-scoring Rockies win, which would be nuts.
All right. Next game. Someone says Kyle's always interrupting. Yes, I'm the host, and that's my job. These guys will talk about a game for 40 minutes if I don't. It's kind of what I'm supposed to do here.
And it'll be like a White Sox versus Royals game that we're on for 40 minutes.
They will talk about the same game over and over again, back and forth, and this show will be 4 hours long if I don't interrupt. Next game.
So true. It's so true, though.
It's my job. So we got the Rays, Angels in L.A. here.
How do you get to go first? Do you just say that you have a pick in this game?
Yeah, you kind of raise your hand.
I set the order up. I go through and I guess who would want to go first on each game, and I actually have you first for this one.
Oh, amazing. So I just raised my hand for no reason.
Because it's Eflin. I put you first. For Eflin, I put you first.
Yeah, you guys know how I feel about Zach Eflin. I freaking love this dude, and I do not like Tyler Anderson at all. That being said, Tampa didn't do anything against Dakota Hudson. They didn't do anything
They
against
won
Ryan
the game,
Feltner.
though.
They won. Yeah, but the offense. I'm talking, I guess, more about
their matchup against the starter, yeah.
Yeah, and now you're leaving Coors. Like, it's a very well documented effect that when you leave Coors, it's much tougher to pick up the baseball right away because the baseball spins a lot more. Like at Coors, because you're playing at over 5,000 feet of altitude, it's a huge advantage for the hitters. And people don't necessarily realize that it's not just that when you hit the ball goes further. It's that the altitude literally makes it more difficult to spin the baseball. So you're seeing flatter pitches, much more hittable pitches. Tyler Anderson is not very good. He's not good at all, in my opinion. But Tampa's offense has really struggled. They're coming out of Coors, and they're playing immediately. They don't have a day off coming out of Coors. They're traveling to LA for this game. Zach Eflin I like a lot. I don't really like the Angels' offense. To me, I don't know if you guys have news on Fairbanks. I don't know why Fairbanks didn't pitch in the ninth yesterday. Another reason I was tilting.
I told you guys that. He benched. They benched his
What do you mean
ass.
benched, though?
The manager was pissed off about his comments in the media about the balls being crappy and him not accepting responsibilities for his job, so they benched him. That's why I told you guys that at the end last night.
I saw you said he was benched. I assumed you just meant like he was being arrested.
No, the managers didn't want to use him, so I don't know if he's even. I mean, he's more than freshly available for tonight. I don't know if he's available tonight.
Well, I'm going to bank on him being available. If the Rays have a lead late, I like Fairbanks against the Angels. Maybe he gets out of the doghouse finally. I did not know that, though. That's I'm tilting that game.
That's what I was reading and what I watched on the after game show.
Okay, well, that's good info then. I like the under in this game. Tyler Anderson, I think, probably does good enough to survive against the Rays offense coming out of Coors Field. I like Zach Eflin a lot. I think it's probably a low-scoring game.
Do you put any stock into the fact that Zach Eflin, not nearly as effective away from the Trop? Does that worry you at all about Eflin?
Not a ton. Because he just got to Tampa last year. If this is something that we see be a persistent issue going forward, I'll put some more stock into it, especially because the Trop is a more pitcher-friendly venue. But I'm not super concerned about it as of this point.
Sounds good. Prop Beaver?
Yeah, I'd probably lean first 5 under 4.5 in this game or pass, but I don't really love where the line has moved. I mean, Toasty locked us in at -115 last night, and I liked it there. Now you can get at +100, and Eflin's on the mound. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. Something feels weird about this. On top of that, I just bet on some birthday boy the other day named Bobby Miller, and he absolutely sucked. So I don't know if I want to bet on birthday boy Eflin over there.
Stop betting players because it's their birthday. They're not 13 years old.
That's not what I said, dude. So, yeah. So I'm just going to pass here. Either first 5 under 4.5 or pass. I think what Commissioner's saying about the Rockies leaving Coors is valid. The Rays go from like a top 3 lineup against lefties at home to like outside the top 18. So as long as Tyler Anderson isn't an abomination, which is kind of asking a lot from him, then you should be able to cover that.
Toast.
Yeah, first 5 under 4.5. I sent it out last night. Definitely don't love the line move if you're getting at a +100 right now. That's absolutely terrifying. But yeah, like these guys said, Eflin should be just fine. This Angels lineup isn't anything special. You got the Rays coming out of Coors, and I mean, Tyler Anderson went 7 innings, 4 runs. I understand, or 4 hits. I understand that the Marlins are trash, but 7 innings, no run baseball. He's pitching decent enough. So yeah, like I said, first 4 under 4.5 for me. It's square. That line movement's terrifying.
Jonathan India scratched for the Reds tonight. Big blow. Good bat against lefties.
Because him, Fairchild, and somebody else are the only guys that can hit lefties right now on that team.
No, they're fine. Not in that ballpark.
Yeah, I just
hate
did that
to
research.
see it.
Well, Toast put me on this 2 years ago. Teams coming out of Coors Field without a day off is a fade spot. So the only way I would go is Angels here. And Commissioner doesn't sound too worried about it. He's a Zach Eflin guy, but no question, Zach Eflin's numbers on the road, not nearly as impressive. So Eflin on the road, the Rays bats away, coming off Coors. I think there'd be value in fading it. I don't know if I actually bet this, but I'm adding it to my list of possibles here. All right.
I also will give you that the Rays bullpen has been shaky at very best.
Both bullpens have absolutely sucked.
It's not like the Angels bullpen has been great either.
No, I know. I'm just saying that.
Next up,
Jaffe.
Right.
Cubs Padres. All right, Toast. Short price here. Pooh Darvish on the mound.
Oh, yeah, you can call him Pooh Shiesty today because he ain't giving up nothing, bruh.
Mm-hmm. So,
nothing, bruh.
All right, Toast. So you're taking San Diego at the short price?
No. Yes. Padres first 5 run line at +100. Don't want anything to do with that Padres bullpen. I'm going to continue to stand on that. I don't know who's going to be out there. All logical situations don't come with logical explanations. So I just don't really know what to do with that bullpen right now. But what I can tell you is that the San Diego Padres are like one of the best teams in Major League Baseball in the first 5 this year. And I'm going to continue to ride that. I think Darvish plays really well. And same thing I said about the Dodgers goes with the Cubs. Asking a team to get up 3 times in less than 24 hours for a ball game. And the Cubs had to go from travel to the West Coast today or last night. So, I think this is a really good spot for the Padres.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you. I'm probably going to take the Padres on the full game, even though The bullpen is a little scary. Proppy, do you agree that San Diego would be the play?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Padres first 5 money line. I'll lay the extra juice simply
Minus
due to the
140.
Yeah, I don't really care. If I'm gonna play this bet, I want the bit of an extra safety net due to the fact that this Padres offense is this Padres offense. You never know what you're going to get.
So you're
One thing I
trusting
will-
Pooh.
I like Pooh. The only reason I had to bring up Pooh and get to these guys is because they love Pooh Darvish. They take him a little too seriously. I gotta poke holes in the argument sometimes. I gotta play devil's advocate. But Pooh Darvish has looked great this season. I think he should have a good start here. Really like what Toast was saying about the spot. And then Assad, what stood out to me is that his earned run line is at 2.5. If you look at his career as a starter, he almost always goes under that, and it's barely juiced under. So what that tells me is they think he's going to let up some runs here. So I'm going to go with the Padres first 5 money line. I was considering the first 5 under. If you like Assad in this spot, then I would recommend that because I think Darvish deals. But if you don't like Assad, Padres first 5 money line is the way to go, or run line if you're feeling frisky.
Oh, I'm feeling frisky.
Someone says minus 40. That's a horrible bet. Bad advice. What does the price have to do? The price would be correlated with the chances of that bet hitting. And if the chances exceed the expected value based on the price, then it's a good bet.
Well, odds are hard, it's like
math is difficult.
Not to mention, take all that away. If there's one team that you'd have to worry about that with, it's with the Padres. They'll figure it out.
That's what I'm saying. Most teams I'll lay it. I don't know. This team's something else.
I get it.
I'm on the Padres money line minus 138. I'm betting this and I'm laying the juice. Seems like everyone's taking the Cubs here. We got Pooh Darvish on the mound. I'm on San Diego.
It's Pooh Day.
Pooh Day. Andy, wow, your camera is labeled as
wow. He basically just called you a scrub.
Your camera is labeled as Andy in the thing. So that's what I have camera 3 labeled as in the thing. Never mind. What do you think of this game?
Asking Kamish or Andy?
Kamish, what do you think of this game?
Look, I'm all aboard the Yu Darvish revenge tour this year. I've bet him every single game. I bet him first 5 money line. Last time he took the mound against Michaelis, it cashed, and then of course the Padres lost that game. I'm going right back to the first 5 money line in this spot against another pretty awful opposing starting pitcher. Assad for the Cubs is just frankly not very good. Last year he was in the rotation for one continuous stretch from August 5th to September 19th. 2.84 ERA looks pretty good, but if you look under the hood, 4.52 FIP, sub 20K percentage, a lot of contact both in the zone and not getting swings and misses at pitches out of the zone. Very, very few swinging strikes against the Padres lineup that does not strike out. I think you're going to see a ton of balls in play for the Padres. Relatively hitter-friendly conditions at Petco tonight as well. That can obviously go both ways, but I think I would rather take the offense that has more potential in this spot. So I think the Padres had the better starting pitcher. I like their offense better in this matchup as well. I'm going to just avoid the bullpens in general because I really want to ride or die with Yu Darvish every 5 days. So that's where I'm at. I got it minus 135 last night, but I would still play it at minus 140. And I will say there's a lot of shaming that goes on in gambling Twitter about people laying juice. I don't know where that stems from. I don't know if it's because most people bet to win, and maybe if you bet a minus 185 on a regular basis, you're basically risking almost 2 units on a bet. But it's all relative to the price, like these guys are saying. I mean, if you get a minus 200, but you have it priced at minus 400 in your notes, that's 200 points of value. You have to fire wherever there's discrepancies. It doesn't matter if it's juicy or not juicy or whatever. It's all about what it is relative to the probability of it cashing.
Yeah, every single price has an implied probability attached to it, and if the numbers show that it will hit at a higher rate than the implied probability, then it's a valuable bet. Doesn't matter if it's minus 190 or minus 390. It's
also, if there's any sport on the planet where you're gonna have to lay juice, it's baseball. You can't just float by not playing juice.
And by the way,
go ahead, Sauce.
Everyone's betting the Cubs there. 54%, 35%. Community definitely leaning towards the Cubs. Next up.
Because they beat the Dodgers.
Speaking of juice, here's one that I like. Here's a good example. This Jung-Hoo Lee prop that we've been playing every single day. I know Kamish is on him too every single day. Getting going from plus 200 to 130 to 100, and now we're in that minus 130, minus 140 range. I haven't checked it today yet. I'm sure Kamish knows what it is, but Yeah, it's down, but I will drink that juice on a daily basis. I just feel lucky that we got it at that huge plus price for a week and a half. You know,
It should be at minus 500 if he's facing that scrub Trevor Williams. My lord.
oh my god.
Prop Beaver. Mr. Blake Snell making his debut here. Debut with the team. Your guy, Trevor Williams on the mound on the other side. Is there value on the Nats here?
Yeah, there is value on the Nats here. On the Nats to score, I think there's a ton of value here. I mean, I just think that Blake Snell, the guy hasn't pitched in spring training. He hasn't pitched in the minors. He's only pitched with his dad's team in his community college league. So essentially, he hasn't seen live MLB action yet in any way, shape, or form. Now he's going to have to face an actual MLB ball club. I know the Washington Nationals are pissed, but I mean, I'm sure they're better than a bunch of high school kids. You could get Washington's team total over 2.5 at minus 135 right now on ESPN Bet. And
that's the
2.5
full game?
run. Yes.
Yes,
two
we
and
both
a
bet
half
this already. Yes.
Yes, it's just like we're getting a guy
Absolutely.
at 2.5. Like, it's his first start of the year. I know he's a Cy Young, but we've seen him start shaky before. Last year, he got hit up in his opener. The year before, he got hit up in his opener. And on top of that, the lineup of the Nats actually has great history against Snell. 1.028 OPS, 395 average through 43 plate appearances. The 4 starting left-handed pitching to face the Nationals have combined for a 3.27 ERA thus far. Not great, but we finally saw them break through against Christopher Sanchez last game. I highly respect Christopher Sanchez. This is a lineup that we thought was going to be a lot better against lefties this season. They haven't lived up to that yet. They showed a bit of that against Sanchez. I'm hoping they break through here. On top of that, if they don't get to Snell, who I think is pitching 4 to 5 innings max, this Giants bullpen has been absolutely horrendous lately. I believe they're bottom 5 in almost every rank thus far this season. So I just feel like there's way too much value to get 3 runs. I mean, it's one thing for 3 runs. I think we could do it here, folks. And we're the road team, so we get 9 full frames to try.
It's kind of hard to argue with the team total over 2.5, and minus 135 is not a significant price to pay for over 2.5. It's crazy. I'll bring Toast up because it sounds like he bet the same exact thing, right?
Yep. 100% can't even lie. And then on top of the only thing I can really add is 2 things. One, with the lefties situation with the Nats facing lefties. Also, 3 of their last 4 games they faced lefties, which is another positive thing. The Giants talked openly about Snell getting beat because he was getting caught throwing fastballs and meatballs to major league hitters. That's why they held him back for much longer. So I do worry about him putting guys away, considering that, keep in mind, I'm a bit Blake Snell guy, but at the same time, I can also admit to the fact that if he's walking guys, which he usually does in all of his starts, whether when he's good or bad, he's walking multiple guys, but he has put away stuff. So if he doesn't have put away stuff today, what is he really going to do? He's going to walk a whole bunch of guys and give up contact, and that's an absolute recipe for disaster. So I played the Nationals team total. I also played Blake Snell under 6.5 total strikeouts at minus 127 on Caesars. I mean, to get over 7 strikeouts, yeah, whatever. Fuck you. I'll take my chances.
People are giving a lot of shit in the comments. Toast is up over 6 units of the year. He's got the highest of all of us.
Yeah, Toast has been killing it. He started off a bit rough the first 2 days or so. He was feeling that pressure, but he really has mounted a good week or two the past. He's been hitting the stride.
So, based on what you guys were saying here, that you don't trust Snell, and I agree with what you're saying.
One other point, I'm sorry. And Camille Duvall, the Giants closer, is not available 2 of the last 3 days.
Oh, like that.
So then tell me why we don't go right here with it. Give me the over at 7.5.
We could do that. The Giants bats have kind of sucked lately. That's the one thing that's kind of holding me back.
Yeah.
But yeah, Trevor Williams does suck. He's worse on the road at night. That's like his worst spot. He's a bit worse against lefties in those spots too. I think the Giants lineup is also a lot better than it's shown against righties thus far. They faced some tougher competition as of late. They faced Cease twice. They had faced King, who's a beast. So now that they're facing Trevor Williams, who is coming off a miracle of a good start, actually may be the perfect time to strike and fade his ass. So yeah, I don't mind the full game over either.
All right. So in that case, what do you think, Kamish? What do you think of that over?
Oh, for the game total, the full game total?
Yeah, because that's what I think I'm going to take.
I would rather isolate it to the Nationals personally. It's just,
so you like that Nats team total over also?
So, and the reason for this, it's really just you could call it a systems bet, a principle bet, whatever you want to call it. Oakland won 50 games last year. They still averaged 3.6 runs per game. And they were the only team in baseball that averaged less than 4 runs a game. So almost without fail, even bad teams will end up averaging 4 runs per game. Blake Snell, to me, he's never been a guy that I've been particularly high on, not because he doesn't have talent, but because his talent is so volatile. And for a guy who hasn't pitched against big leaguers yet this year, wasn't in spring training, he's been pitching on backfields and against community college guys. No disrespect to anyone that went to community college. It's a very different level of competition. The other thing too, I just ran my updated strikeout and approach metrics today. The Nationals have made more contact on pitches outside the strike zone than any other team in baseball so far this year, which is the number one correlated metric with strikeout props. So if a team's making a lot of contact on pitches outside the zone, it means they're fouling off a lot of pitches that end up being strikeouts against other teams. So I think the under 6.5 strikeouts that Toast posted is probably sharp. I'm going to wait for an umpire just to make sure we don't get a Nick Marley or a CB Buckner or something like that behind the mound, being that it's the first game of a new series. But that makes sense to me. And then the over 2.5, man, Blake Snell, man, he's been really, really bad at times throughout his career. He was really, really bad at stretches last year. And I like the Giants. I like what they do philosophically with their pitchers, but I think it's entirely fair to say, hey, this isn't going to show up day one. The only reason I haven't bet it yet is because that price seems to just keep getting more and more favorable at the 2.5. And I mean, we'll find out. Like Beaver said, they get 9 at bats. I'll take my chances with 3 runs.
All right, cool. So do we want to do the college basketball and include that in the community parlay, or should we do an MLB community parlay real quick and then bring on Andy? I sent you an invite link and I sent it to Scoop as well. So you know what? Let's keep it separate. Let's do a community parlay.
And yes to the comments. I'm so blasted every single day with my 16-month-old. Just sit home and get blasted every day, bro.
So they voted for the.
We tell him to stop. He doesn't stop.
So blasted, bro.
With my 16-month-old. Oh shit. All right, first leg of the game.
I'm sorry. The first comment I saw was, "I agree with everybody. You've looked blasted the last 2 weeks." I'm like, what?
Sitting there with his infant child.
Like, all right, yeah, I'm blasted. Still up over 7 units, but I'm blasted.
Oh, people are strange.
Where do you guys see the comments? Do you have YouTube open at the same time?
I literally just opened them. I never
And
look at them.
they're
but
also
I was
right on the
wondering
screen.
what
They're
was
right
said.
on the screen there.
I can't see it.
I can't see them.
I can.
Well, let me know if someone ever says anything really mean or
The
really
one you
nice.
always get, they accuse you of being like a lawyer. They're like, why isn't this guy at law school?
Oh,
I don't really get that one. Like, dude,
I saw 2
he's
comments.
actually
One was
a
Matt.
pitching coach and baseball analyst. It's like there is not a more qualified job to bring on here than that. Like,
There's a reason that we talk to him on a daily basis because he teaches us a lot.
yeah.
We do try to get better, you know.
a lawyer. That's so funny.
They're like, why isn't he in law school? What?
That's why I like when you're on this show because you get let loose a little bit, and I think it's fun. I like that.
Yeah, I love coming on. I love talking
don't-
baseball with you guys.
I don't think people understand how much you hate Max Muncy though, and it just makes me so happy when you get mad.
So Braves money line.
It's just the defense, man. You watch him at third base, and he's just in such bad defensive position every time he fields a ground ball. And I don't know how you can be a major leaguer and have never been taught how to field a ground ball properly.
All right. So next leg, first leg is Yankees money line. So Yankees are in the community parlay tonight. Just so everyone knows, we do have the National Championship logged in on deck, and I think I have Scoop and Andy waiting in the waiting room, so we'll bring them on at once.
Here.
Yeah, it's a full room.
Bomani Jones, I just sent you the underdog.
Oh yeah, we should do that real quick too. Okay.
Yeah.
Braves money line is the second leg.
Ooh, double. White Sox.
Oh,
They left the guy on in the first. They left Moncada at third base.
I saw that. I was just
Diamondbacks money line, Rays money line, Padres. Oh no, you guys voted for Cubs. All right. What's the third leg?
I love that your audience has no shame going against our picks too. Like, I think
Oh
that's
no,
really
they don't give a shit.
No.
I love that Toast can be on a heater of all heaters, and like, is this guy an alcoholic? Like,
I know.
Wasted, bruh.
Toast.
I look high every day. Like
Yep.
my
Scoop,
that's just
it's
on my
Scoop, it's-
eyelids.
Scoop, it's not your turn.
Guys,
It's not your turn.
stop talking to the people they can't see because we look crazy. They can't hear them.
Oh,
Look like freaks up here. There's people in our ears that we can hear that you guys can't. That probably shouldn't be speaking, Scoop. Well, we're broadcasting a show. How is it smart to talk to us when we're doing that? All right. Diamondbacks money line. All right, so the 3 second place finishers are Brewers, Dodgers, Rays. Okay, what's the fourth leg of this community parlay? Cast your votes, cast your votes.
Sauce, I think you talked him off the Braves.
Well, I mean, no, the Braves are on there, bro. It's Yankees, Braves, D-backs so far.
I know the Braves don't look like they're gonna win.
No, Braves are. Oh, the Braves are already on there. It's Dodgers or Brewers.
Oh.
This is in between. I don't know why I added Braves to this last one. But yeah, community parlay doesn't stand a chance because Mets might get this dub. It's got to be Dodgers.
Plus 590.
Okay. Dodgers money line plus 590. So community parlay: Yankees, Braves, Diamondbacks, Dodgers plus 590. Now let's bring up Prop Beavers. Let's get him on the screen, and you can explain to everyone your underdog, and then we'll talk national championship college basketball next. Where's the underdog? Oh. Here it is. That's not it. Hold on.
No, definitely not. Would never put that scum Fraley in my slot.
All right, here you go. Rob Beaver, you have the floor.
Yeah, so we got Kerry Carpenter, best matchup tonight against Mitch Keller. Think he shines. We got Yu Darvish. Think he pitches a real gem against the Cubs in a bad spot. Blake Snell, over 1.5 earned runs allowed. We've detailed how we like the Nats to get to him. And then James Paxton under fantasy points. Bucks have a sharp line on the Dodgers for a reason, I feel. And I feel like the Twins are going to get active here after being really cool to start the season. So those are our 4 picks for today, guys.
If you don't have an Underdog Fantasy account, it's available in any state highlighted in this map. So if you're in one of the states highlighted in yellow, head over to the website or download the app Underdog Fantasy. When you make your account, make sure you use the promo code BET, B-E-T. That'll get you a $100 deposit bonus match. So you deposit $100, and Underdog Fantasy will give you a free $100 if you use the promo code BET. All right, let's bring Scoop Scrub Ass on so he can stop whispering into our ears while we're trying to have a broadcast. Yo, Kamish, have a good night, man. Thanks for coming on.
I'll see you guys. Appreciate you having me.
All right, so I could dip out of here now, right?
Yeah, real
Is
quick,
that
you
how
want to
this
share
goes,
your
right?
your national championship pick before you leave, Prop Beaver?
Yeah. What is Scoop taking?
What do you take, Scoop?
I'll talk to you on the show. Beaver, make your own decision. Stop being a pussy.
I'll take the opposite of Scoops for 5-unit Mega Hammer Max. Thank you.
All right, Prop Beaver. See you in a little
See you
bit.
guys later. Peace.
So I don't have. You guys are just gonna have to deal with the incorrect names under you.
Deal with it.
It's Purdue, UConn. Well, I hear myself. Oh, you're gonna have to mute. Yeah, you go. Andy's here. Andy's here at the office, so you can see all the stuff behind him. That's why our voices are echoing. So we got Purdue +7, UConn -7. We'll do the total separately. There we go. Andy, I'm going to mute my mic. You have the floor.
Yeah, if it wasn't pretty obvious, I've been waiting for this one for a while. I don't think I need to explain who I'm taking. I'll explain why. I will say that this is obviously the most nervous I've been picking UConn. I think I've picked UConn every single game since we did this show. And they've covered a lot, obviously. But I think the defensive side for Purdue just isn't going to be what it usually is, right? Usually teams, they're afraid to go inside against Purdue, obviously. Zach Edey's waiting there, and nobody has anybody that size except now. Obviously, UConn finally is a team that can match up size-wise with Purdue. They haven't seen that much this year. The only thing I'm worried about on the other side is UConn has to start hitting their threes. The problem, recently they have not been hitting them. Obviously in this tournament, they haven't been hitting them nearly the way they were hitting them in the regular season. Purdue's done a good job of defending the three. That's the only way I think this is even close, is if UConn doesn't hit their threes. But really looking at last game, UConn gave up 8 of 11 threes in the first half, and they were still winning at halftime. Alabama shot 8 of 11 from 3 and was still losing. So even a team's best game doesn't seem to be enough against this UConn team. So I'm just going to ride this and continue to see if they can continue it. And it seems to be working so far this year. So I'm just going to continue riding it. Give me UConn, and I guess we'll do the total after.
Yeah, we'll do the. Make sure you mute your mic. Okay, so Andy's on UConn when I think he's on the wrong side, personally. Scoop, what about you?
Yeah, I'm glad I could speak now. Thanks, Dad. This is the title game we wanted. I know NC State would have been fun, or maybe an upset against UConn sometime, but would anyone really want to see Alabama, NC State? I don't really think so. I'm on UConn like Andy. This is only the 4th time in the last 15 years that 2 number 1 seeds have been in the championship. It doesn't happen a lot. And there hasn't been a repeat champion since Florida in 2007, so that definitely doesn't happen a lot. But, UConn's going to have to do it against the back-to-back National College Player of the Year with Edey. I'm not sure Edey's going to translate to the NBA game that well, but right now he's still an extremely dominant player. Both of these teams are also 5-0 against the spread this tournament. UConn's won 11 straight NCAA tournament games by double digits. The issue here I see here is Klingon isn't that much smaller than Edey at 7'2". He towered over every other player in this tournament. I'm talking about Edey. But Klingon can definitely battle him down low, not give up too much size there. And Caravan can really stretch the floor with his jumper, so Edey won't be on him at all. Purdue is an underdog by a pretty sizable margin here, which is pretty crazy to number, but they've only been an underdog twice this season, Arizona, Illinois, and they won both games. But Arizona's been inconsistent all year, and Illinois has a bad defense. UConn aren't any of those teams. I also think this is the best team UConn's played all year, so this is going to be awesome. I don't even think UConn will need a double Edey, though, with Klingon, so they can match up well with every other player on the floor. I am a little worried about foul trouble with Edey picking up some quick fouls against them, especially because UConn doesn't have the bench depth that Purdue does. And Edey isn't going to come out of this game at all. He's going to play all 40 minutes. And when Klingon does, I expect him to get some points, so that's a little troubling. But still, the backcourt of UConn is better than Purdue. Tristan Newton, Cam Spencer are better than Braden Smith and Lance Jones. And I know Braden Smith's an amazing player. I'm not going to say he's not. He's a great ball distributor. But I guess they're both better than Stephen Castle. But even Stephen Castle has the ability to go off. He had the most points against Bama last game. If they're shooting and staying hot, Purdue with the spread may be an issue here. But UConn has great perimeter defense. Against NC State, Purdue had 16 turnovers. If they didn't have that in that game, if they have that against UConn, they're not going to be in this game. They're going to be in a hole and down early. The only way Purdue pulls this off is if they're shooting over 50%. I know they do that often. They did it half the games.
They do that all the time.
Yeah, they did it half the games this year, but I don't see it happening against this defense. Plus, everyone I know actually I think is picking Purdue. I'm not saying the public or anything, but everyone I talk to, I know, except Andy, because Andy loves UConn.
Sounds like you talk to a lot of idiots.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm talking to you guys right now. The only way, is they're shooting over 50%. But like I said, they'd be favorites in this game against everyone but UConn probably, and they'd probably be favorites in this game against any other final. But they're not. UConn's the better team. The number's this number for a reason. I like UConn here.
Incorrect.
Cool.
Toast, can you tell these guys about what it means, what Purdue basketball means to this country?
Yeah, I think that we saw it with Virginia. After you losing the 16 as a 6-1 seed to a 16 seed, you win the national championship next year. It's just as simple as that. I mean, why are we overlooking this, guys? I mean, so I'm taking Purdue here. But yeah, no. In all seriousness, I do think that this game is necessarily a coin flip. I think that finally UConn has somebody to deal with in Edie with the size, but at the same time, the size of the backcourt for Connecticut is so much bigger than Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer. I mean, it's like 6'5" to 6'4" to 6'1" and 6'2" situation. So Purdue's really going to have to worry about turning the basketball over, but UConn is one of those teams that doesn't really force a whole bunch of turnovers. So I do think that Purdue can stay in this game. I truly believe it's a coin flip. I think that whatever team is hitting 3-pointers is probably going to win this game. I understand how good UConn is. I get that. I'm not trying to make a case that they're not anymore, but still got to win the national championship to be the best game ever, Andy. You still have one more to go. So
one more.
We'll see what happens. But yeah, I took Purdue.
Yeah, that's the exact phrase I was looking for. Just one more. So for those of you that don't know, I picked Purdue to win the championship in my bracket. I also have 2 open tickets for Purdue to win the Natty. One at plus 850 and one at plus 700.
Did you go in a bracket challenge like with anyone? Like, are you?
No, I didn't get them.
No?
I was busy as hell on that Wednesday, so I didn't have time. I usually do. But I had Nebraska in the Final Four, so I wouldn't have been in any spot to win it. But I win a lot of money if Purdue wins this game, so I don't even have to bet Purdue money line because I already have a lot of potential winnings coming if they win. What Tosh just said, Purdue. So for 2 straight years, everyone bet Purdue to win the Natty, and for 2 straight years they choked it. And then this year, no one believed in Purdue. And I was like, this is still like arguably the best team in the country. I mean, you'd probably say UConn is the better team, especially from what we've seen in the last month, but still like the second best team in the country, and nobody believes they're going to win. This is the year to bet them. That was like, this is the year they're going to win, when everyone's like, nah, they'll choke. Now they'll choke. That's the year they're going to win. That was my mentality going into this. So yeah, here we are in the national championship. I'm still standing with my champion right here. Is UConn elite? Yeah, but 7 points is too many, so I would take the points. I'm not going to bet it because I have so much money. I think I win close to $4,000 if Purdue wins this. So I have so much money riding on Purdue to win this game that I don't think I'm actually going to place a bet on this particularly today. But yeah, Boilermaker up. All right. We don't need to go full breakdowns for the total, but real quick, where would you go for the total?
I would go over. It's been bet down 4 points. What could go wrong with a total that's been bet down from 148 to 144, right? So
what could go wrong?
Yeah, I lean over.
Scoop?
I'm going under. Both teams played a slow pace to not especially break teams. UConn's more than Purdue, but Purdue drops back well, and Purdue waits for Edie to get down the court every single possession before they even start doing anything. So, plus, if I'm picking UConn, I'm picking the under because by then they shut down Edie down low and they limited their fouls against them. So, under.
To shut down Edie, they're going to have to double team them. And to double team them,
they're not. They're not.
If they don't double team them, they're not.
They're not going to double team them. Klingon's going to be fine without double team.
Oh my God! Absolutely not.
You'll
no
see.
Shot.
We'll see.
Andy,
what are they going to do when Klingon's not on the floor then? And
that's
I'm not
the
even
problem. That's what I said. The 10 minutes he's not on the floor is going to be an issue.
Oh, yeah, I was just making sure you were muted. I would also go over. I remember last year's national championship. It seems as if in a lot of national championships and a lot of big games like this, teams come out hot, come out firing, a lot of 3-pointers. I said I think UConn will be able to hit their threes today a lot better, so I think the over is a good one here. It's also, as Toe said, being bet down, which makes me feel good about that.
All right, so I forgot to run the poll. Let's see what everyone else thinks here. Over 144.5, under 144.5, and absolutely, I'm going over also. So Scoop is on an under island as far as that. UConn's either got a double Edie, in which case you have Purdue with probably the best knockdown 3-point shooters in the country getting open looks, or Edie's going to dominate. So I like Purdue to score a lot of points. And obviously, UConn's got 3 NBA players on their roster. I think 144.5 is too low. The only thing that worries me is the pace should be. UConn doesn't run the fastest pace. Worries me a little bit, but I think both offenses will shoot well.
Edie's gonna go like second round, right? Probably.
Someone said, did Toast hit the wife lottery? He stays home all day watching the kid and gambling. You know he gets paid to do this, right? This is his job. He's at work right now. All right. 53% looks like the over.
It's pretty even.
54%, 46% towards the over. So, community likes UConn. Community likes the over. We're split. Me and Toast on Purdue. Andy and Scoop on UConn. Everyone have a great night. Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. I think we're gonna do the NBA show in the morning. It'll be me, Modai, and I have a third. I can't remember who it is. But we're gonna be live for the NBA in the morning, and then MLB will see same time, 4 p.m. But I'll be live, so it'll be in the morning for NBA, 4 p.m. for MLB tomorrow. That's the schedule. Everyone, have a great night. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll be in the Discord in about an hour if you need me. Later.